Hello YouTube, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm just going to share with you a few things that I'm keeping and recycling to save me money throughout the year. So let's get straight into it. So some real sort of random things, but I just thought it might spark some ideas for you or give you a bit of inspiration. So this is a hand soap that I bought for Christmas because I just think it's fun. For years now I always put in the bathrooms a Christmassy hand soap for people to obviously wash their hands over Christmas, and the kids think it's funny and it's great. So I got this, it was a couple of £2, but I've rinsed it out, it's empty now. So all I'm going to do at Christmas is refill it with like my normal hand soap. I'll just pour some from the bottle that we all got on the go, or get a really cheap hand soap because you can get them a lot cheaper than you can buy one of these for, and then just put the lid on and reuse this for Christmas, for a Christmassy hand soap instead of buying another one. So that, you know, it's plastic, so that will last a good few years. So I'm going to do that. Another Christmas one, my advent calendar. I still love an advent calendar. I love the ones with pictures. I've never bought my children the chocolate ones. They always had, as children, had a picture one, and I still send some of them one now because they love it. They love to count down the days to Christmas with the pictures each day. I think they do buy themselves a chocolate one now though. But when I was a child, I had the same advent calendar every year. Like these days everybody gets a new one every year. I certainly didn't, and my sister and brother didn't. We all had an advent calendar, and when Christmas was over we used to shut the doors and it would go with the Christmas decorations and come back out again a year later. And I must admit though, by the time I got to my teens, I knew what every single picture was before I opened it. But I loved it. I remember it was dolls on a skating ring, and it had some bits of glitter on it, and I loved it. So this year, I mean the last few years, what I tend to do is, because these are quite pricey, is I shut the doors, I put something heavy on them, and then I'll swap them round. Like the children will give them me back, and I'll say shut the doors, put something heavy so that the doors sort of almost reclose. I mean, sometimes it's not perfect, but a lot of the times it's not bad. And then I'll swap them round. I have 5 children, and quite a few of the girls still like to do the advent calendars, so they'll sort of do around a few of us before we change them. So that's another thing I'm doing with my advent calendars, putting a couple of heavy books now, and by the time December comes we can use them again. I can honestly say, as I get older as well, I can't remember. I had this one myself. I remember I absolutely loved it, and I want it again for this year. I'm not going to swap this one round, and I can't remember what was under half the things. I'm sure I will once I start opening it. The other quick thing about Christmas. This is a Christmas box that had Christmas cards in, and it's actually cardboard box, and this is one I had a couple of years ago, and I used it last Christmas, and I'm going to do it again. Several of us are on different diets here, and what I do is, instead of doing selection boxes, because some people here are vegan or whatever, or gluten-free, is I buy individual chocolate bars, and when the children come home I do little boxes for them of their own sort of snacks, so that they can just go and help themselves, like their own little selection boxes. And I found I had several of these, but I thought I'll just show this one. And this is, because it's just this lovely little box, it was perfect for putting some chocolate bars in, some vegan chocolate bars for my daughter, and then every time she came up, this was her little box of eating things. And then when Christmas was over, she gave me the box back to reuse for next year. It's quite a good box. I had 2 or 3 of these, and we all had our own little boxes of Christmas chocolate. So that's quite good, and it's got a really pretty design on it. So there we are. So that was a little thing I do, and so I'm keeping those as well. This is not a Christmas box. This is a gift box that one of my daughters gave my husband, gosh, pre-COVID actually, quite a few years ago now with some birthday treats in. So when he'd finished the treats, because the box is so lovely, we kept it, and I put treats in for one of my other children's birthdays, gave it to them. When they finished the treats, they actually refilled it for, I think it was my birthday, gave it back to me, and then I've kept it. And so this box has been doing the rounds for a good few years now, and it's still in pretty good nick, and it can still be used. It was recently, one of my daughters made a Easter box for my youngest, and who's at uni, and so she put all sort of Easter treats in it and gave it to her, and then when she finished the treat, she's given it back to me to reuse again. So you can keep reusing. If you haven't got those boxes to start with, this is another thing I'm doing this year. This is a shoe box that one of my daughters had some shoes in, and because she knows me so well, she asked me if I needed it. And it's just an ordinary shoe box. She bought some things in the sale. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep these for Christmas. I'm sort of slowly getting a couple of shoe boxes from different family members when they have shoes. And I'm going to put Christmas paper on them, and I'm going to use them to put gifts in. So instead of having to buy gift bags this year, I'm going to be using shoe boxes. There's something different. I got a load of cheap Christmas paper in the January sales, so I can cover this with some Christmas paper, put the gifts in, and put it under the tree. So I thought it would save me buying any gift boxes or gift bags this year. If I run out of Christmas wrap or birthday wrapping or anything, what I'm also doing is I'm saving any brown paper we have from Amazon. We live rurally and I don't really drive much, so we do sort of shop a little bit with Amazon. We find it very, very handy, and it actually saves money because if you go off the shop, you tend to buy more than one thing, and it's quite a long way away, so you tend to buy snacks, the rest of it. Whereas if you just order it and it's delivered, that's all you buy. My husband also gets deliveries for work, so I've been keeping all the brown paper, and I thought I love it. It reminds me of there's a musical, Scrooge, that I love watching with Albert Finney every year. It's our traditional Christmas Eve film, and the children get given little parcels in brown paper with string, and I just think they look adorable. And so some years I do wrap presents up with the brown paper, and in the sales this year I got some coloured string. I think it was 50p, reduced to 50p for 3 little balls of string. There was I think it was red, green and blue. So I am going to be doing some little parcels for my family with the brown paper this year, and that will make my Christmas paper go further, and I think will look quite dinky. You can also decorate it with like little sprigs of holly and things like that as well. Cards. Just been Easter. I had some Easter cards. I always keep any old cards, whether it be Christmas, birthday, Easter. I then rip the front with a picture off, and then I use the back for making shopping lists or writing notes and things like that, so I don't have to buy memo blocks and stuff. I tend to use old cards. So I keep all my Christmas cards and all my little shopping lists now, and on the back are like Christmas trees and snowmen, but it's quite handy. Jars. I keep some of my jars, not all of them or else I'd be inundated, but I do keep quite a few ready for the autumn for jam and pickling. So I do quite a bit of homemade jam, not as much as I used to, but I do still make jam and pickle onions, cabbage, beetroot, that sort of thing. So I started keeping my jars. They're also quite handy at Christmas for doing gifts if you want to put like sweets in or things like that. And also I've got things like paper clips in jars, and I've got drawing pins in jars, you know, that sort of thing. They're very, very handy. So I keep certain, I don't keep all of them. I think I would just have, I turn into a hoarder, but I do keep some of the better jars. When I get to a certain amount I stop and recycle them, but they are handy for jam. And the last thing today is plastic tubs. This is actually one we were getting rid of at work, and I said, oh, I'll have that one, and it's quite a good size. It had gravy granules in it, And these, I give them a good wash out, and these sort of things are really good for like putting cakes and biscuits in and things like that, or even salads, that type of thing, because even like a lot of Tupperware now is quite pricey, so if you've got the chance of a plastic tub, they're very handy. I've got some downstairs, which I did mean to bring one up, forgot. There was one we had at Christmas with sweets in. It's like one of those big swizzles round ones. Well, it's a perfect size for putting a cake in. So if I when over Easter I had all the children down and I was looking for tubs to put cakes, because I'd made cakes and things like that in there, and I had some of these, and I had sweet tubs and stuff like that, and I use them as cake tins. The old tubs, I mean, when I was a kid, all the big sweet tubs you had at Christmas were metal. They were tin, they weren't plastic. And my dad used to keep all like the toffee tins, and he'd keep all his like screws and nuts and bolts in them and all that sort of thing. And if you went into his little shed, in his potting shed, there'd be just this row of sweet tins, Christmas sweet tins, and it would have all his knickknacks in, like screws, nuts, bolts, all that type of stuff, that thing that he had. Picture hooks, that was another one. So they are quite handy, whereas I say most of mine have things, food items in, things like that. Although I have got tins with a sewing kit in and batteries and stuff like that. So tubs and tins are very, very handy. That's just a few of the things so far that I'm saving to save me money later on in the year. Let me know in the comments below what you're saving to save you money, and don't forget, if you liked this video, give it the old thumbs up, like, subscribe, share, and until next time, stay frugal.